or as per your letter inviting us to appear before you today to provide a comprehensive update on the investigation. We are here pursuant to that letter. We can inform this body, this honorable body, that the investigation is ongoing. It is very far advanced. And the prosecutory arm of the Ministry of Justice, in collaboration with the Liberian National Police, is conducting a very, very comprehensive and detailed investigation. Yeah, taking a while, but we'll try to be as meticulous as possible. To ensure that justice because the matter is part of it is in the court. Because the investigation is ongoing, they're not much we can see further on this matter, but we'll assure you that all is being done and very soon, very, very soon, the investigation will be concluded and you will see the next course of action that will be taken by the Ministry of Justice. So not to jeopardize the investigation and statewide is really ongoing, but we can assure you that we are doing our utmost to ensure that we have gathered all the evidence, that the right people who participated through whatsoever means into that crime will be brought to justice. Thank you, Madam.
Distinguished colleagues, the Minister of Justice has informed us that not to jeopardize the investigation, And because some of the matters in court, we cannot speak on the details to the Senate. We need to hear from few senators and make a decision on this. Senator Momo Cyrus, followed by Senator G. Von Smith.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, and distinguished colleagues. To provide a comprehensive update on the investigation into the fire incident at the Capitol. We are here pursuant to that letter. We can inform this body, this honorable body, that the investigation is ongoing. It is very far and the prosecutory arm of the Ministry of Justice, collaboration with the Liberian National Police, is conducting a very intensive investigation. I think I would like to be as meticulous as possible to ensure that justice is served. Because the matter is, part of it is because the investigation is ongoing, there's not much we can say further on this. Very, very soon, the investigation.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Um, welcome back. Welcome back to the Nightly Exchange. We are here again from yesterday. We had a nice conversation concerning our bid for the non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council, and today we are here to celebrate. Right? We said it yesterday that we were going to be coming back here to celebrate. And before we start, I just wanted to apologize for the delay. We were trying to get some things together, and we're here now. I'm here with Sandy Jalahu, SB, and we thank you for coming on, and thank you for waiting around. Those who are still waiting, we apologize. We promise that next week everything will be on track. This is the first week, so we little, all over the place. But we appreciate you coming on with us. And this is the Nightly Exchange. You can find us on Liberia Watch News on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm Amy. Marsha Territory is not my last name, y'all. Please don't call me Marsha Territory. I'm only repping my city, my village in Liberia. I'm repping my village. So maybe Cindy Shupo, Grand Gita up there. Cindy, you need to tell us your village. So everybody need to be repping that village so that people can know what we significant. I don't want people to call me Marsha Territory like other people.
My village is Liberia.
Oh yeah, Liberia is not our village, but the village in Liberia. So that's what I know people say Marsha, but I believe what my daddy told me. He said Marsha Territory. So that's what I'm going by. Okay. So yeah, today we are gonna have a great show. We are gonna be talking about today. Cindy, I think that this is like the biggest story in the country today. The election and us winning that seat.
Yeah.
And I think the second thing is about the CDC headquarters or something. But I think this story kind of cover everything today in the country. So we are excited, and we are glad that this happened. We were hoping and praying for it, and we are so excited that all of Africa came through for Liberia. And so we're here to celebrate. We're here to talk about it today, and we hope everyone will join in and make some contribution too, because today I think we're going to be taking calls as well. Thank you. So, Cindy, we're going to start with Cindy to tell us, other than this topic, what is on your mind and what's going on with you?
I think that's the biggest topic, and I know we'll get more into it. But as a Liberian, I'm very proud today. For my country, I'm happy for my nation. Liberia is always on my mind. The elevation of our people from poverty is on my mind. The development of our country is on my mind. I cannot wait to see a Liberia where all of our major cities are connected with roads, paved roads. A country where a country that is receptive to tourism, and I mean receptive in ways that we have security in check, we have our infrastructure in check, right. We have our systems and policies working that will attract tourism, so that Liberians also can benefit from those tourists. Some other countries around the world generate most of their revenues from tourism, and I look forward to my country also benefiting from that. I just look forward to a great discussion tonight. Hopefully the other guys will join us. Maybe we share the links to invite other people as well, and let's have a discussion on Liberia.
Okay. So yeah, whenever you talk about tourism, Sandy, I always I remember you mentioned about Rwanda having a park that people go there to see gorillas, baboon or chimpanzee, whatever they are, and they pay thousands of dollars to see that. And I'm like, well, Cindy, I got a gorilla right across the street from me, Marsha. And somebody was like, what's the street? I said, oh, the river is the street. That's a gorilla. Island or something. What they call it? Gorilla Island or
Yeah, I think
something?
it's the Gorilla Island. Yeah, or the Monkey Island. Something like
Monkey, yeah, Monkey Island. There you go. So, yeah. So every time you talk about the tourism, and I always think about that part. But yeah, we'll see. I hope, yeah,
yeah.
like you said, our people.
The thing is, we have them, right? We have our country is bigger than country like Rwanda. I mean, way bigger than country like Rwanda.
Mhm.
And we have all those things you're talking about, like the Sapo National Forest, for instance, right? There's so much is untouched. There's so much to see out there. The problem we have is the lack of the infrastructure. We do
Right.
not have good roads that lead to those places. We do not have good accommodation when you get to those places in terms of like hotels and where to stay. Um, Once we open up the nation with the roads, stable electricity, once we are able to capture that part, I mean, we will see a lot of tourism activities in the country. Uh, and that's what other countries do. They focus on building the infrastructure of the nation. That's what they
Right.
do. Once that is established, then they open it up to the outside world. And that's how smart, country that Rwanda has been, operating. I mean, that place, and not to bore you with the Rwanda story, but that particular area that was, I was talking about, where they have the national gorillas park, is in a city called Musanze. Very small town, like the size of, let's say, maybe Ganta. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, but one of the most expensive hotels I ever came across is in a city. Where people pay. I mean, I heard our hotel, a room in our hotel is around $10,000 a night.
oh
I'm
my
telling
God.
you,
US dollars?
I'm telling you, not Rwanda France. Ridiculous,
Oh,
ridiculous. But guess who you find in that town when you go there? The tourists, the money people, the white
of
people.
course.
American celebrities leave from here. Steve Harvey stay in that town for some time for that national park. They leave from here and go over there to experience those things,
Maybe we
right?
can have something like that in Robert Sports and other places.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, Robertsport, that beautiful mountain right there, looking over the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. That rainforest you have there. People will pay a lot of money to go there. We just need to open up the country.
Okay, so transitioning. So now that we were talking about this seat at the UN, um with some of these things that we're talking about here, because last time we are talking about the benefits of having, the seat. You think that people will be able to use this opportunity to kind of leverage the investors and people that want to help to do, I mean, want to invest in tourism, areas and stuff? You think this whole, Security Council seat can be something that, because everybody talking about visibility, or having a seat to the table, and global visibility, all this in it. Is there something that can be used to pull people in that sector?
Well, first, let me start by saying again, today, as Liberian, I'm proud of my country. Uh,
Yay.
so, yeah, we want to congratulate His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. We
So
want to congratulate the Foreign Minister, Foreign Affairs Minister, Madame Sarah
best
uh,
of.
Beslow. We want to congratulate her for her tireless efforts. We also want our gratitude to former President George Manawia for initiating this fight for Liberia. This is a win for our country. Every Liberian should be happy. Every Liberian should be excited that we have been elected to this strategic seat. Now, what we can do with this seat, uh, is really up to our leaders,
Okay.
to leverage this opportunity for development. It is a strategic opportunity for development for Liberia. And what do I mean? our position on the Security Council is more than a diplomatic wing. It is a once in a generation, opportunity to transform our nation's global presence into tangible development outcomes. Now we are on a global platform. Now we are going to network with people. Now we're going to meet with different stakeholders. We can utilize this position now to position us for development, to establish a development agenda. How should we use this moment? I believe the country should craft a clear development narrative. They should present Liberia as a nation ready for investment. That should be done both at home and outside of Liberia. In order to position or present us as a nation ready for development, we must show innovation, we must show stability, we must show peace. Let the world know that we are open for business
and accountability.
Let them know that we are open for leadership, not only in Liberia, but in West Africa.
Yeah.
Liberia must forge smart global partnership. We must use our seat to deepen ties with powerful allies. The like of the US, China, UK, France, and etc. We must utilize this seat to tie, a powerful alliance. This relationship, when we build them well, can lead to roads, to electricity, to agriculture, to digital transformation that we need so bad in that country. Now we are positioned as a nation, one of the few nations sitting on a very important seat. Let's utilize this now to expand our relationship with these partners. And whenever we sit with them, present our country as a country ready for development. We should also use this opportunity to champion issues that affect us. Liberia should be the voice for climate change, climate vulnerable nations, post-conflict, conflict recovery. Liberia should be the voice for food security, the voice for youth empowerment, the voice for a fairer international financing. More often, we see that international financing are not often fair. They seem to signal out certain nations. Liberia now is positioned to advocate not only for herself, but for other nations to equally benefit for international financing. There is so much we can do with this. So much.
So, Cindy, do you think the time though? I'm hearing people saying 2 years, but in the president address, he said 2026 to 2027. Do you think the time is enough for all of this?
You have the whole of 2026. That's when this is going to start, and you have the whole of 2027. That's why they say 2 years, right? So
okay, so it starts now.
No, it starts in 2026.
Right.
You have the whole of 2026, January through December, 1 year,
right.
12 months. You have the whole of 2027, 12 months. So you have basically 24 months.
So is that enough time to get all of these things done?
Well,
because after that, we have to get somebody else in there.
It is enough time to build this relationship. You already have these allies. You have these countries that you've been working with. You have the business partner that you've been engaging. Now you have been accelerated to a level that gave you a power to accelerate your relationship building, your network building. You have this time to be very strategic, to be very innovative. You got to bring all hands on deck, Liberians in and outside of Liberia. Create strategies on nation building or development agenda and present that to your partners. Why are you doing that outside of Liberia? Do not forget to stabilize situations in your country. Maintain the peace in the country. As a nation, as a government, do not get involved with these, distracting opposition tactic. These uncalled for protests. Do not get engulfed with those things. If they arise, handle them diplomatically. Do not handle them politically.
Cindy,
position yourself in a way that partners that you will engage outside of Liberia will find you to be a reputable government that they can work with.
so Cindy, I understand what you're saying, right? But for our country, we are not the nation that said, "Oh, after the election, let's put country first. The election is over." Our country, as we have noticed for the past few months, year, a couple of months, we've seen that you have people that are still, mad. They still have, and they're making threats like, "Oh, they will make the country ungovernable and doing this and doing that." Which are like what you're saying right now is supposed to be all of Liberians, effort, right? The government is not the only person who's supposed to maintain the peace. Every citizen in the country. So if the government is trying to be all diplomatic and you have these players that are on the side saying that they would do this, they would do that, and they are not being that, what do you expect the government to do? Because this is very important for us, right? And we are very pumped about this whole thing. Like I hear you explaining all of these things that can be done with this while we're occupying these seats. But are we responsible and civilized nation that people will really come to think about their country and put politics aside and make the country stable and secure for this, like all of what you're outlining to happen?
Well, it is the government responsibility to maintain the peace. It is the government who have the greatest bearings of the peace.
Okay.
If you do not add fuel to the fire, trust me, the fire burning will not spread. What do I mean by that? You will still have opposition. Every country that were elected today to the seat have opposition.
Responsible oppositions.
They have opposition. Not all. The Democratic Republic, I was surprised to get elected. The DRC get elected. I mean, they have tension across the DRC. There is active war going on right now in the DRC. Apart from the war, the city of Kinshasa is unbearable to be right now. So there are oppositions everywhere.
But that's a different kind of war, though, Sandy.
What I'm saying is you have the responsibility to be diplomatic. I'm not saying the government will not carry on its functions to ensure that the nation remain peaceful. If, let's say, the opposition bring, on call for protest to disrupt the nation, of course the government will respond. The government has that responsibility to respond. But do not engage into unnecessary confrontation. The government media, the Ministry of Information, the press, the President Press Secretary, all of those responsible to carry out information for this government should now avoid this unnecessary bite-to-bite, tit-for-tat, political attacks. Let's be more diplomatic. Let's focus on nation building. Our message should be peaceful. Our message should be about developing Liberia. Let the nation be seen as a peaceful country and a country ready to do business. If people are coming with distraction, if people are coming with unnecessary attack on the Liberian people, yes, the government must respond accordingly. Yes, but the government must remain peaceful. The government must remain focused. The government must remain development oriented. The government must accelerate its development agenda. The road going to Grand Gila, let it be done next year, by next year. Let it be done. The road going to Robertsport. In fact, now my favorite county in Liberia is Grand Cape Mount. The road going to Robertsport, let it be completed before the end of this year. Let the government use its resources to develop the nation, to complete those roads. Engage those that you are about to meet with. Now that you have an upper voice, engage those people, encourage them to bring development to Liberia. Liberians too deserve better roads, better electricity, better running water, better healthcare, better education system. And Liberia is in the capacity at this moment to engage with others to bring those to the Liberian people.
Okay, so we want to welcome few people. We want to welcome Tommy Jr. Thank you for coming. Wilson Johnson, oh, you're a rock star. You're always here. Thank you for being here tonight again. And Veronica George, thank you for coming. Who's another? Jala, thank you for coming. And we hope that you will share the show, share it to your friends to come on. This is our first week, so that's why we've been a little, up and down, but we promise you we will get it together next week, hopefully. My promise. I mean, so thank you for coming on, and this is the Nightly Exchange, and you can find us on Liberia Watch News on Facebook and YouTube. So yeah. So Sandy, you said something that actually caught my attention about the development, and you kept talking about roads. There are a lot of there's a massive road project going on in the country right now, but a lot of Liberia don't seem to appreciate that. Oh, what can we do to show Liberia or tell Liberians or show them? I don't even know what the word to use, that these things don't start with just bringing 10 tons of rice in and doing this and doing that, and people don't understand what is going on. Now, I'm not saying that the government shouldn't handle, the according to our African bread and butter issue, but do you think the role work in something like you keep mentioning it in development, which seems to be important? I know you know it, but a lot of Liberians don't know it. I mean, how can we? People just want for the government to stop these projects and stuff, because when you talk about the government is doing, that road we will eat. I mean, like some of them pretend, I don't know if it's out of politics or if it's genuine or whatever, to not know the importance of having these roads. So what can the government do, or what can anybody do? Like you talking about bringing these people, for people to come in, develop investors to come into tourism and all of that. We need these things for our country to thrive. How can we rather make this town, or for Liberians to know that these are very important projects and stuff that needs to happen in our country?
Well, look, I mean, I can empathize with those that need food. I can empathize with those that need school fees. I can empathize with the market women that complains about their markets are not being bought because no money in the country. I empathize with the young women and men, the boys and girls that are out of school because there is no money in the country, or their family do not have money to sponsor their education. I empathize with every one of those people. Now, one thing I must also be clear, though, is that for us to move this country forward, we must tackle or address, in our better word, address some of the primary areas. And one of the primary areas is that we must have roads connecting the nation. When we have roads connecting the nation, it paves ways for those in the rural parts or those in outside of the Monrovia belt to also get connected to Monrovia. They can bring their businesses to Monrovia or to other, cities like Ganta, Banga, Zwedru. They can bring their businesses there, sell them timely. But also, going back to tourism, the tourists can access all of Liberia. The reason our tourism is not booming, one of the reasons is because we don't have roads going to the counties. Look, most tourists do not want to come and stay in your cities. They want to experience the countryside of your country. They want to go to Grand Jide. They want to experience the rainforest in Lofa. They want to go to Grand Cape Mount. They want to go to Sino. They want to go to, those places outside of Monrovia. For instance, when I go to Liberia, I care less about Monrovia. I spend 2-3 days maximum in Monrovia. The rest of it, I'm in Grand Jide. But if we don't have road, if leaving from Monrovia to Grand Jide, I have to spend maybe 1 week, 2 weeks on the road.
Right.
A road that will probably should take me less than 6 hours. But because of bad road condition, maybe I have to sleep between Nimat and Grand Jide. I have to be there for 1 week. Nobody wants to go there. So roads, electricity, stable security in the country is very important. Once we have those things, look, the rice you're complaining about now will come in surplus. The lack of school fees you're complaining about now will come in surplus, because then our people will not be dependent on government jobs alone. Private jobs will come. Tourists will come. In fact, most people that are living in Monrovia now, you will be so excited to go back to your various counties because jobs will be flooding there. You will have no reason to be around Monrovia. So we can bear it now. Some of the nations that got developed, they were hungry at one point. I tell you, I'm going to leave you with this. I always mention Rwanda, and you're always complaining about my Rwanda thing. But do you know that people in Rwanda are struggling? Do you know that Liberia pay more than Rwanda? Do you know that what we call a coke in Liberia? We pay them usually around like 100, 150 in Liberia. In Rwanda, it's less than $30 a month. It's 35,000 Rwanda francs, which is around $30 a month. And the people are hungry. But guess what? All of their nation, the country, entire country is connected. Tourism is flooding in the country. Every Rwandese citizen have access to free health care. And there are 15, almost 16 million people that have access to free health care. We are only 5 million people with a country that is much larger with more resources. That is not landlocked. They are landlocked. If we connect the nation, we can do better and our people's lives can improve. Let me leave it here for my friends to talk to.
Thank you, Sandy. Welcome, Pamela. Welcome, to the show. Share it. We're here again, guys. I have one question for you, Sandy, but I think we'll make that second question. Let other people have some chips in the discussion. We are talking about the seats that our country were able to grab today at the UN, and it's a beautiful thing. I think we're all happy and celebrating it. So we were just here talking about some of the benefits, and Sandy was just telling us like what Liberia could do to how Liberia could use this opportunity for development and bring in investors and stuff, kind of like networking, right? Because they will have that they will be sitting on the seat on a very important table to be they'll be visible to a lot of people. So sorry, what's your point on this whole win, and what do you see like real benefiting from it?
Well, thank you so much. And I'd like to begin the conversation by saying good evening to you, Sandy, and to my brother family, and Emmy, and to all well many Liberians. It is important that we celebrate what we call a victory for Liberia today, not basically from a destructive point of bringing issues as usual that we have done as Liberian. And I understand over the past period of time we have condoned the aspect of politicking in every aspect of life. So nobody see any progress on void of politics. So at the end of the day, everyone will take their share. But on the overall, Liberia has won. I think that's the bigger picture right there. Like you ask a question, other people with IQ, people who are not somehow in favor, or people who want to have issue, because in Liberia we have many issues upon issues. We argue that this seat that we have won have no impact on Liberia. Then I question your understanding about the historicity of being part of the non-permanency, and you look at it from the more diplomatic time. Like my brother made some emphasis on making some key decisions. So when you are part of the non-permanency, you have the voice to make decision for your country and other countries around Africa, and basically that strengthens security and social economy and progress around the globe. So when you talk about that, doesn't make sense, or it is not something for us to celebrate. Then I question your patriotic and your nationalistic stance. But how big that's our bureau? So, like I said today, when I call on the spoon talks, I said this conversation should not be about who we recognize or who did what to get this seat. It is unique. Point of correction, I'm trying to be corrected. It is unique. It is a good thing that we give appreciation and thanks and appreciation to those that did what they could do. But it should not be a point of discussion. What we should be discussing here is how are we going to utilize this seat to get development in our country, how countries around the world, because for you to get at that place, there must be some level of consultation. There must be some level of belief. There must be some level of, I think, trust in your country that yes, they can do better for all around the globe, because you are representing a continent, you are representing the world when you try to make decisions. So to conclude on the business needs that one our people want, we talk about national growth all of the time. And before we proceed with national growth, we cannot only restrict it to just looking at it from the liberal perspective. For a country to make progress, like always we say, they have some bilateral meeting, they have some bilateral conversation when the president travel or with some government official travel. Those are places that you are well respected as a country, because you have something to prove. You have a decision to make. So there are more development will be coming to your country based on how your foreign ministers or your foreign partners will try to understand what you prioritize and what you need. Like you were mentioning the issue about rule and which one of the priority of this government. We talk about food insecurity, all these business things. So I mean, it's a whole lot, but I'm more concerned about how our government will utilize their particular seat. It is one thing to win the seat. It is one thing to utilize it so Liberian can feed the impact of it. Thank you very much. Your media.
Oh, thank you that you touched on the fact that we shouldn't politicize the whole seat thing. That the winner is Liberia, but there are some people out there that are trying to, bring out the whole, everything in our country, like we said, is politics. Bring out the whole politics, like, oh, President Walker did not mention President Weah in his speech. When the president said delegates and fellow Liberians, I did not see him mention any, important dignitary and without mentioning President Weah. So when you think that when he said fellow Liberians, President Weah was included and all of that because he did not mention President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So I mean, what is the thing about people running all around saying that he didn't mention President Weah? Back again with the Weah story. What do you want to say about that?
So I mean, Labra has always been on that trend. There's nothing screaming to some of all when you see political pundits wanting to politicize anything that doesn't make sense. Why would you want to trivialize certain issues? Why would you want to gain a recognition for a particular collective project? If we understand the government from a more perspective of continuative, then
Mm-hmm.
why will one want to always be talking about him, an individual? It is a good thing to appreciate the former president because he was the head of the government, but it should not be a primary discussion. As years of knowing Imama, it doesn't make sense to me for somebody to always put for this argument that one person should be given the platform or one person needs should be called. I think one day the president, the current president, President Joseph Boakai said, like Bieber and other.
Well, what went wrong?
What happened to both guys?
I had no idea. Let me see.
Me up. Yeah, I just got off from the show.
I know what happened.
I think the
I
president
don't
or
know. I
something.
think there were some technical glitches.
Yeah,
Who is glitching this thing? I think there's glitching like glitching.
I'm telling you.
Go
so
ahead.
I mean, to conclude, I don't see it of no
You be.
use to be a
Mhm.
primary discussion centered around one person should be recognized, one person should be given recognition. But it is good to appreciate those who started the project, the progress. Don't get me wrong, but it should not be a center point of discussion. Like I said, we should be discussing what will come to Liberia after we have won this particular state. I think that's the most logical conversation that we should be having. But it is
Thank
what it
you.
is. People will always go the way they go because that's their understandings in the politics in Liberia.
Thank you. Pamela, you want to touch on this? We were on it last night. We talked about everything, and now we're here. Like we predicted, I would be here celebrating today. Your thoughts? You're muted.
Well, I think my system is having this automatic updating, so it kind of just flip flopping. But
Mm.
today I have been one of those persons who have been so overwhelmed, so happy for my country, Liberia. You know, this win has placed Liberia in a different bracket.
Mhm.
I don't want to discuss too much of the politics. Like one of my friends always say, leave matters for Matthias. So I'm leaving that politics for those who think that everything in our country should be politicized. But today I'm trying to be more nationalistic and patriotic and trying to say this is a win for Liberia, and Liberia is regaining her prestige on the world stage. You know, it was since 1961 when Liberia last had the opportunity to
Mhm.
sit on this council. And again,
Way before our time.
I mean, it was far before I was even, I don't know, my father was born around that time when he was a baby, when Liberia had the opportunity. But to live in this era, in this age, to see Liberia again being elected unopposed is welcoming. And
Yeah.
um, this symbolizes a lot of things. People don't know that there is so much importance and so much benefit that this seat come with. Even though Liberia is a non-permanent member and many of their decisions can be vetoed by the Big Five, it still put Liberia in in a position where Liberia can solidify a role as a responsible government. You see what I'm saying? And it also helped to promote this
Mm,
whole African priority, because Liberia will not only be sitting on there um to be saying yay and nay.
mhm,
Liberia will also be over there to push the agenda. And there is this historical significance of this thing. We are not looking at just the issue where people think that we just going to go sit down over there. I saw so many things people say. Even in our own group chat, somebody said we should go eat it with palm butter rest and other thing. And they don't know that it's significant, but this seat gives Liberia a huge historical significance, giving Liberia being one of the founding member and African country that funded the United Nations. And this body is a full cycle um where Liberia can never be omitted from the Security Council and formation. And also there are a lot of things Liberia stand to gain. One, the opportunity for capacity building. Why are we not thinking about that? you know, a strengthened Liberia foreign service and diplomatic corps through high level exposure and decision making. You'll find that people who going over there will not only sit to represent individual interests, anything that go for before them is always about the interest of the nation. So it will bring greater coordination between Liberia and Foreign Ministry, mission of the United Nations, and the National Security Agency. So you going over there, you meet other people from other countries, and who also have national security interests, and you have bilateral relationship with them. Why are we not talking about that? Is that not capacity building? Is also important. And also a Liberia sit at another place where we'll have diplomatic leverage, and that diplomatic leverage is not just a mere floating position, and it open door for new bilateral and multilateral partnership. So there is a lot more. If we get the opportunity to discuss this thing, we can talk about it today until tomorrow. But there is a lot more Liberia stand to gain. And what about the voice on the global security issue? Not because they say you are a non-permanent member, so that means you don't have a voice. You have a voice. With all of the security situation going on around the world, you still have a voice to say something about regional issue. Not only, not
right.
only
I was just about to ask you that. Yeah.
and not only that, about regional issue, things that are happening closer to us and around and our continent. So let, for instance, a platform to raise African and regional issue, including those related to West Africa and the Sahel. The terrorist is on the rise right in Nigeria, not even far us from us, not even far from us, Nigeria. There is a rise of serious Boko Haram. You already know what happening over there in Nigeria. And Nigeria is just about an hour and a half away from Liberia. And you think that in Liberia, and in fact, there is armed trafficking going on over there. You think people that, how do you think the Americans were able to come to Liberia and say, hey, look, we noticed that there's a huge drug trafficking, or Liberia has become one of the biggest hub for drugs trafficking in the region during the Weahs administration. You know how many barrels of drugs were arrested through intelligence agencies, follow it and come and have them catch right out of our free port of Monrovia. This is one of the reasons why this seat is important, because the influence and responses from the international partner will have other people who will be saying, hey, look, Liberia is a small country, but the Americans and other bigger country who are in fact are a permanent member, like the big five, they also have a stake to say Liberia was here from the beginning, and if Liberia needs support, we can go up there and give Liberia our support.
So
And
from the,
finally,
I'm gonna. Oh,
and,
okay,
and
go ahead.
finally, there is this international recognition and prestige that this seat brings to Liberia.
Mhm.
So it's not just an ordinary seat. They say, "Oh, go sit down over there." No. So that's exactly what I wanted to say.
So I'm gonna put this question to you. I asked Cindy earlier. This position is only for 2 years. Do you think is enough time for Liberia to, you know? do some of the most important things that we are talking about in our country.
Look, this position is not only about what Liberia is going to gain. That's why I don't want us to just hitch on. So being on that position is not about us gaining. It's also about what we can offer. You see what I'm saying? So if we go over there for 2 years and we actually, do what is just, do our due diligence, there's a lot more. The international recognition and prestige, the bilateral relationship, and all the other things will help Liberia. In 2 years is enough for us to mend the fences, especially some of the broken fences, most of the distrust they have in our administration. We can use that time to build the foundation. So they say if you have a solid foundation, your horse would, the wise man will build on a solid foundation. But fools, you already know what's going to happen. So we have already had a foolish foundation, but this time around, we have a serious administration, a serious government who say we're going to use this opportunity to build our international prestige, and Liberia can be seen again among the community of nations, that when we speak, our voice will carry weight.
Amen. So, yeah, one more thing, and I think you already touched on that. That Bureau would not only be there for herself, but for her brothers and in the region too, like African, anything that concern Africans and stuff like that. So it's important, and I think that we should all of Africa or West Africa should be celebrating this win too, because I mean, as Africa are starting to look out for each other, this is something important that we all should be celebrating. So welcome to the show. Let me do it one more time. Welcome to the show again. This is the Night That Exchange. You can catch on Liberia Watch News. Here we're here to talk about the issues in the country, politics, social issues, and everything. But we always talking about politics because something always going on in the country. That's why we're here. So over here, Kolokwa is the order of the day. Okay. Because we're talking to people in Liberia, so we try our hardest here to make our Mamusu, Miriam, Fanta, everybody to understand what we're saying here. So bear with us. When your ear itching, when our Kolokwa ain't too hard for you, please, we're sorry, but we're trying to connect with people in Liberia to talk about stuff like that. So as we move on, right, I think we had enough discussion on this.
Yeah, I think I omitted something. Before Jarawu, before you come in. This international recognition we talk about and prestige that this win gonna bring to Liberia is something that we must take in serious consideration, especially that this going to signal strong international recognition on Liberia return to stability, because that's why people don't know. If we want investors to come to Liberia, everybody crying for investment to come to Liberia. Everybody crying for Liberia to be modernized. Everybody crying for safe, for other good things to happen to the country. But this win alone have already signaled, it sent out a strong signal out there to the international community that Liberia is on the verge to or Liberia has returned to some level of stability and democracy and active diplomacy after years of civil unrest. After 14 years, because many at times, some people still have the idea that Liberia is still fragile. Why it is 2 years, and the people still believe that Liberia stay in a volatile state. And but our position today on the Security Council and our involvement now in the UN peacekeeping presence in other countries has already given Liberia another face. So that's what I wanted to add to it. So this vote and this presence of in our win today, I have already cast a vote of confidence, from global community that Liberia can responsibly contribute to global peace and security and discuss issue of concern to other countries in our region and around the world. Thank you.
Cindy?
Well, I just wanted to add the debates today, or part of the arguments today, is about President Waka not mentioning President Weah's name.
Right.
I read the entire speech, and what I captured from that speech is that the president tried to stay more diplomatic. He tried to stay on, focusing on the wings. This was not a domestic political speech that was written today or that was delivered. The president cannot name every president, past or present, dead or alive. The president can only name certain people to align with the wings today, or the discussions of what's happening today. So what President Vargas tried to do, really, by naming, someone like Joseph Jenkins Roberts, he named Edwin Barclay, he named, Todd Ball, he named Madame Salif. Really, what he tried to do, he actually mentioned Madame Salif, but what he tried to do is that he tried to align himself with leaders that are most often remembered for foundational nation building, international diplomacy, or democratic reforms. Now, those people, and that's what this seat is about, right? Foundational nation building, international diplomacy, and democratic reforms. Now, he thought in his wisdom that those leaders of our country are aligned with those, categories that fit within the Security Council seat. Basically, what the president tried to signal is that the continuity with Liberia diplomacy, legacy. When you look around leaders that have served this country, which one of them can you identify to have some level of international diplomatic legacy? Definitely, we can go back to Tobo. I wasn't born then, but you can hear the role he played when he engaged the UN, ECOWAS, and the AU about the importance of Africa's security and stability. You can also look into Madame Salif, who is known as the queen of diplomacy, very much engaged with the international community. Now, you can look at all of that. So basically, he gives a speech that is about global engagement. It wasn't about domestic politics. Basically, again, not to repeat myself, but he names leaders that have major roles internationally. That is not to dismay President Weah's effort. That is not to dismay anyone's effort. President Weah started this thing. Other leaders came and also joined in support. And that is why the president then recognized the collective effort of every Liberian. All of us, our partnership, our voices on different radio platforms, President Weah engagements, starting these things. But the president cannot name all of the presidents that have served the country. And I think we should move on. This is not about politics. This is a win. President Weah knows the work he put into this. He don't need to be mentioned for him to know that we recognize that. Liberia wins, and then just move forward and utilize this win to help build our nation in whatever ways we can.
Well said, Sandy. I was thinking the same thing too, but that we need to put Weah statue somewhere to Ralphie Airport, and when you go every corner, because I don't know, Weah is a good thing for Liberia, not politically. He's a celebrity. He was a global icon. Nobody can take that from him. But I mean, I'll just leave that there. But let's move on to the next topic. Still talking about Weah. The CDC headquarters. We heard a couple of days ago that they got a eviction letter to vacate the premises, and then today again we seen another one that they're giving them 8 days to leave. And so, we've been trying to talk about this, but time hasn't been given. I mean, we haven't had the time to talk about it. So, I think I wish George and Vasco was here because I think it would be good that they be here to tell us like what is really happening and what is the next move and stuff like that. But they declined to come on, so we're still gonna go ahead and talk about it and move on. So, Famila, what do you make of this news coming from the Sakimochi?
Look, I mean, I told you I wanted to be peaceful today, but if you bring Sakamoto Bennett up, that means you want me to go
You can be
political.
peaceful. We're just talking about it. I mean, you can talk about national issue in
Look,
Liberia. Talk about the Sakimochi. Come on, you
the
can be
the
biased.
issue about the eviction from the quote unquote CDC headquarters is a big slap in the face of seditions. That continues to speak volume to the fact that this party is completely and lacking leadership. The party continue to showcase or exhibit um, um, complete don't care attitude, because you can mean to tell me that you were a government just 6 years in less than a year ago. I mean, in 1 year, few months ago, and you already being evicted from a party headquarters. The
Well,
place
from that, is there eviction about not paying rent, or is it about family having a dispute? And
look, that goes beyond family dispute, man. That issue been having that issue about that place would have been resolved if there was a good leadership at the CDC headquarters, if at the CDC party, if they had good leaders that have good heads over their shoulder, that thing would have been resolved because they have the power to have resolved that issue. Why would you take 50 million and run a campaign if you sitting at the party headquarters that you don't even show that you meet your obligation to stay there? Didn't you listen to the report of the European Union how President Weah used about 50 million to finance state resources were used to run his campaign? Why will you use so much money like that to run a campaign if you know that it's almost like the person who say, oh, I'm going to spend the money I made today, the motorbike rather say all the money I made today, go buy chicken and can't cook food tomorrow, bring it home. Then the less money he wake up a whole less solo. He ain't ought to go ride motorbike. And then he go by and say, oh, they wishing. Look, CDC, they got a long road to go. They have a very long road to go. And we don't wish evil for anybody, but they did not do well. The party who have secured that place in there, because they saw what happened to the Unity Party. Then that means they did not learn anything.
yeah, I was about to come. Would you say
Yeah,
that about what happened to the United
yeah,
Party?
you did not learn anything. If you sat right there, similar thing happened to the Unity Party where you are in power and you could not correct yourself or prepare yourself, then that means you did not learn anything. You are just sitting over there looking after something else. You're not even focusing about the most important thing. More besides, that party headquarters where President Weah said, yeah, that they built vocational school, they did that. People were, but yeah, there's still people over there were sitting at that party headquarters very unskilled. The only thing they go out singing song and raising unnecessary battle cry. Maybe that's why they was teaching them in that vocational school they said they built on the party headquarters. But now, all we can say is that the 7 or I don't know how many days they say they gave them.
8 days.
They enjoy it now. Or maybe President Weah in his wisdom, President Weah will allow them to go to the Jamaica resort, or maybe they will use his Nashville residence. I mean, somewhere closer by.
So, I want to have Viva Walton Johnson saying that some of the elements in the party are greedy. President Weah wanted to buy the headquarters and put it in the property and put it in his son's name. but they said no. Look at where we are now.
Oh yeah, that's just one of the many thing what we call commentary, after the event already happened. That one of the things that coming out, it's almost like after the election, people say, "Oh, you're getting money, you're nowhere supposed to do, you're not do it." That's the same thing that happening. I know the party is very disorganized. Everybody after their own individual interest, they could be right. There's a
Is
lot
that
of
just the CDC or that is with every political party in Liberia?
look Liberia political institution. Many of them do not have proper structure. They have all those pseudo structure. They get pretend that it is organized. It's not organized. And the party they do because the way our party has been set up in Africa, they are all been set up around an individual. Like for
Yes.
instance, if President Bouaka, who is the standard bearer of the Unity Party, the people expect that President Bouaka should use the personal money to pay rent of the party. She use the personal money to pay all the staff that help to maintain the party. I don't even know how sometimes people think. That's how CDC
It's an
build their party.
institution, not a personal.
That's why they say it is an institution. They should have everybody over there. Because one way or other, they were all connected to government. They were in government. So you're in government, you're getting your own money. What you are doing? And in the end, they getting that, oh, because this person is the standard bearer, he should pay more. That's how the institution has always been like that. So until they can change their mindset, CDC is going nowhere.
Okay, so brother Vasco, brother Vasco, we're happy to talk about the United Party headquarters, but today you're concerned about JFK not having jobs, so we shouldn't talk about CDC headquarters. Okay, we hear you,
When
brother.
last
Come on the show and explain to us.
when last Vasco thought about JFK? When last?
When we're talking about the party headquarters, CDC
Oh
party
yeah.
headquarters. So let's sorry. What do you think about this party headquarters issue?
Yeah, I mean, it is the usual trend in Liberia that political party has not been institutionalized. At the end of the day, you see most of it happening. So, like Formula said, it did not start with the CDC, and they could have learned from past event. I mean, you look at the Unity Party, and I mean, when people come to government and you say you are a political party, there is no structure in regards to how you make progress and how you maintain uh, institutions is mind-boggling. But that is Liberia. Political party has always been built around an individual. So at the end of the day, you never see the party making progress with the exception of that particular individual. You look at the ANC. If you take up Mr. Kumi today, there's no ANC because everybody depends on Mr. Kumi pocket. Nobody will tell you say I paid you consistently to uplift the party. Then you see somebody talking about the disenchanted accountability. Your father inside the poor party. I mean, those are basic things. They say put your mouth to where your money is. So if the story about Mr. Weir, former President Weir, wanting to buy that area and put it into his son, and that did not work up, and they are into the kind of a limo they are into there, then that tells you with our president, we are a person, there's no CDC. And that is bad. We
So
should always have people who will, young people who will come up, or let's say, other party stars that will come out to say, yes, let's take the initiative to graze the party to another area by paying our due, by saying, yes, if this individual is not here, we can do it. But not being a political party around one individual. Trust me, when Mr. Weir leave the CDC to say, I'm no longer interested into politics, the CDC go nowhere.
you think that's why they keep holding him in my own little world hostage to continue to
In
stay
Liberia,
around?
there is that thinking about, okay, let's use one person to gain our own political frame. Oh yeah, some people do not have the face to be, there as a leader of the party. So at the end of the day, You can't erase the fact that Mr. Weah has a loyalty supporter of
Mhm.
Liberian. So to get rid of Mr. Weah, then you get rid of the CDC slowly. And trust me, like I told you, if the Mr. Weah say, today I'm not into politics, I want to live my personal life, my private life, and journey, the CDC is done because one of the stories that can elevate that can legitimize this argument of mine, it is when Mr. Weah said, I'm not buying that area or I want to buy that area and put it into my son name, quote unquote. It is what we're hearing. If that was true, and Mr. Weah did not buy because the CDC, because we are saying our Congress and other folks disagree. If you are buying this area, tell your son to put in the CDC name. You cannot buy and put in your name, then the party be operating there. So
Oh, was
if
that a
Mr.
problem?
If Mr. Weah did not agree to that, or they did not come to a final conclusion that he should buy and put it in his son name, then I mean, Mr. Weah could not spend that money. So
But you think Mr. Weatu was acting on the like his motive or whatever I should say was in the right direction if you're buying like a property for an institution and you want to put it in your son's name? Like
it doesn't make sense because why would you want to buy a property from an institution and put it into your son name? That
right.
means you want to own that property indirectly. When you say you put it in your name, maybe there could be a lot of backlash. But again, some people prevented that idea and said, no, if you are buying it, put it into your son name. But
Oh,
they didn't say if Mr. Weah did not, come put forth the money to buy that area, what happened to other folks that were in government? What happened to the due payment? Right?
right.
So, like formulas there, and many will agree here, political party, not only the CDC, even the Unity Party today in power, if they shall have leave power tomorrow, left power tomorrow, I mean, they could come here again with the same crowd that we got issue with rent and all this thing. It's
Mhm.
mind boggling. Why you in power? Why you maintain power? Why you cannot buy a land space and get a political party structure? I think that this should be one of the unique conversations that we should have. It should be one of the requirements that political parties should have a unique structure into their name. Before you come out to say you political party, because anybody can just wake up and say I'm political party today. Because you have someone a 2 bedroom. You say, okay, let me go and get few people and say, okay, I get party. And it's simple in like, bro. Anybody can just wake up and just create a
Yeah.
party because there's no proper and logical requirement set that people will say yes. That's part to when it comes to people granting the right to as well to be candidate, all these things. There are a lot of things we need to look at when it comes to elections process and how political
Election
parties come into
reform.
being. So I mean, it's sometimes I don't want to say crazy, but it looks funny to see some of these things happening. You
Oh,
maintain
you
power
just
for
are crazy in the US. Everything is crazy. It doesn't
so
mean it's be in the
it's
streets
yeah.
or you know.
Sometimes normal I've look at some people see it that hard. So it's mind-boggling to always see political party proceeding that way, and we have to always try to ask the National Election Commission to make law more, to get some reform as to how political party come into being, how people being candidate. And I think there are basic education we need to carry on. There's a lot of education we need to carry on.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. We were about to go to Sandy, but you're back. Let's
Yeah, I'm
speak.
still here. I just needed to close the door.
Okay.
So
So
on the discussion, on the topic on the discussion, look, this is not just a CDC issue.
mhm.
This is the issue with every political or almost every political parties we have in the country. This is also a national issue. Our government operates the same way the political parties operate. Unfortunately, we do not empower institutions, we rather empower individuals. We do not, as a nation, we do not have long-term development agendas. Instead, we always operate on temporary agendas.
Mm.
That is the same way the political parties operate. They do not think about the long term. They always think about the short term. the CDC been a very powerful political party for many years. The UP, same. These are the two political parties that have ruled Liberia since post-war. Yet they are
Homeless.
yet to have stable home. For me, this does not affect us as a people. It doesn't put food on anybody's table or takes food from anybody's table. However, it just speaks to the kind of leadership style we have that operates in Liberia.
Right, Sandy. That's why I wanted to ask. Shouldn't we talk about it, because these people come into power to lead our country, and if they can't have that structure in their own political party, then that is only a house full. What about the entire country? So I think this is the purpose of talking about them.
Right. No, this speaks to the issue of leadership, the issue of proper management, the issue of priorities. Because as leaders, you must have priority. The issue of stability, you must have some level of stability. Because if you are not stable, let's say if you do not have a stable political party headquarters, I mean, that speaks to how you may manage the nation resources. You may not be stable enough.
Right.
So it's worth talking about. It go across again how Liberia as a nation is being managed. Our leaders think temporarily; they do not think permanently. I mean, you would think that that particular place would have been bought by now by the CDC. I mean, there are a lot of rich people within the party.
Do you think the owner was selling it though?
The owner at this point is selling it.
Okay.
The owner at this point said to the CDC that you can buy it. CDC said they have the money to pay their rent. The owner is saying, no, I want to sell it now.
Okay.
I do not want to do lease anymore. I want to sell it. If you cannot buy it, get out. And also, that's the disadvantage of leasing.
Yeah.
On the CDC part, because quite frankly, the CDC has also done some development over there.
Yeah.
I heard the vocational school was built over there, or is built over there. That place is not just a mere property. That place is very iconic. That place is a place well known for the CDC.
Do you
So
think
now
they will take the tree with them, Sandy? The Sycamore tree, the famous Sycamore tree.
They may cut it down, but I don't think it will go with them. But to be honest, quite frankly, I think the CDC should negotiate to buy the place.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they should negotiate to buy the place. That place is very strategic. There's a lot of history behind that place now when it comes to CDC.
CDC, right?
A lot of their, folks, gone. In fact, folks were killed over there. I heard sedition. There were a couple of sedition I heard that were killed right there. All of their activities, people know that place to be a CDC headquarters. I genuinely think they should start negotiation, if they haven't done so, to buy it. I mean, I do not want any individual to buy and put in their
Well,
family
Sandy,
name.
the owner is saying the only negotiation is the money that he or she or they are asking for.
Right. But what I'm going to say is, and I'm going to end on this, if the CDC as a institution don't have the money to buy it, and if President Weah still have the money and want to put it in his family name, they should buy it. They should buy it. I agree with you, Wilson Johnson. I agree with you. If Weah had bought that place, I don't think he will be behind them to kick them out. So if Weah have the money, they should buy it, put in Weah's name, and maybe eventually the party can negotiate to buy it. But they shouldn't be kicked out at all. I think the CDC should maintain that particular place.
Yeah, I also agree that if he has the money, but I think that, don't you think that he should credit or loan the party the money. He's the head of this institution, for goodness sake. And it doesn't make any sense for you to be, you say you're renting or buying for an institution. But I mean, are we looking at, is that the same way we are having CDC at Hyatt? You want to put CDC on that something, but you want it to
Well,
be in your son's name. This is yours. This is your baby. I can say CDC after we are, it's nothing. So why would you want to be? Why are you so particular about putting your family's name on that instead of it being the CDC in CDC name, which is understandable. This is an institution, Sandy. Why would one person put it in a family's name? Don't you agree? If we already love CDC, shouldn't he agree to put it in the party's name?
again, I am not going to doubt the we as love for CDC. I will maintain that CDC is an institution. I will maintain that CDC does not belong to we are alone.
Right.
I will maintain that if the institution CDC cannot afford to buy the place, and an individual, whether the funder or even the lowest member of the CDC can afford to buy it, I mean, they can negotiate. Again, I get your point. It's a valid point. They can negotiate. If CDC want to engage President Weah or any of its members and say, look, if you have the money, please give it to us, loan us to buy it, and we'll pay you back. That's a fine negotiation. Now, if that is not going to work, then let at least a member of the institution buy it for now, and then maybe later the party can negotiate, to buy it for the political party.
Okay. Guys, do you have anything else to add before we go to the phone line? Guys, my number 2.
I think we can go to the phone line. I think so.
The CDC
on the call to make
the
his point.
CDC is another example of what they call if I know. That's always the last word for food. Because this is exactly the point. This party has just made perpetual error. I don't even know that the mistake that happened in the CDC almost like the English that came out of the mouth of President Weah. And now everything that is happening in the CDC, if Weah doesn't say yes, nothing going to happen. So with the CDC continue to run on the brain of President Weah, then that means there is no CDC. Because President Weah is a celebrity. President Weah can get frustrated at any time. Just how he did not even consult them, and he conceded during the election, and some of them got angry. That's how he's going to eventually come out one day and just say, you know what, I've lost my taste for the politics in Liberia, and I'll just call it a day. I'll just focus on my good work I've done on the global scene and just continue my lifestyle.
But and from that, he said that after the 2023 election, he said he was retiring from politics. But we still see him. So.
Yeah, President Weah is a businessman. Some people don't even know. President Weah is a very, very good businessman. He's a con artist. People don't even know.
I wouldn't call him that.
Look, I'm not changing anything, but that's real. President Weah, we know what happened in 2005 election. The news are all out there. After he tripped to South Africa, and he came back and he said for the sake of peace, and he did it again. So he's on this spree. He will come back again 2029 when he gets you again. President Weah will come hustle. Politics like bro, like hustling. So imagine some people who have no political history in the country will get wake up one soon morning and say they get political party. And a political party, in fact, National Election Commission is not even holding up to the requirement for someone to have a political party, because one of the requirements they say you should at least have, I think, how many political party are headquartered in how many counties, but how many other political parties have a sub headquarters in any of the county? Sometimes you get one, two. I know one political party can go rent, use to rent two. The one shop that rent in cover, they all go rent out man shop. They may always keep in that shop for campaign for election time, and they will always go rent that small shop to see that party headquarters. So Liberia, I know we have to ready up the game, and there's too much. We know multi-party democracy is something that everybody yearn for, but not everybody's all get political party in that country. Thank you.
Thank you. So, guys, if you are watching and you want to call in to make your point, you can just call us on the number on the screen. It's 267-586-5479. Guys, anybody want to add a number up there? That is my number. You can call that number and we will have you through to make your point on the topic that we have just discussed concerning the UN Liberia seats in the CDC headquarters. Yeah, so you can just call us to make your point on that, and we will be happy to have you. So while we are waiting, we to remind you again, this is the 90-day exchange, and then you can get us on Liberia Watch News on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know if our YouTube is up now, but though we just set it up, it was having some problem. But yeah, those are the two handles right now. And I think Safari Testify, you can also get up to there to join the show. And as you join, please share the show. And yeah, let's discuss the issue in Liberia. Let's discuss our country and discuss social, moral, and politics. Mostly always politics, because the country is always busy with a noise, political noise. So we're here to discuss Liberia. We want to see Liberia do well. We're not doing it for any reason. We love our country and we always want to come in and discuss the issue. So yeah. Anything you guys want to add while we're waiting?
No, I mean, I just had a few more things to say. Because I have to call it a day, unfortunately.
Yeah, if no one is calling, we're gonna call it a day ourselves. Then
Yeah, gotta wake up early tomorrow and do what we gotta do. What a great show, and it's always a pleasure to come up and speak to our people and to speak Liberia.
It's okay, Wilson. You can do that next time.
It is.
You can even join. I'm sorry, it's a family. You can even join us sometime. We'll see if you want to come on. We can drop the link for you to come on and talk about CDC. Come defend your party.
Leave my man Wesley, man. Wesley, man, no.
Go ahead.
Wesley, very in your comment, we'll both hold your argument. That way, you can go in the comment section. But our own minute, don't lead them. But anyways, it's always good for us to have the kind of fortnightly exchange. Sometimes we are even tired, but when it comes to Liberia, we get energized. When it comes to Liberia, we get resuscitated. When it comes to Liberia, we regain our energy to come up and say one or two things to uplift our people. And we'll always be here. For us, we are always here. How many know? We'll always be here. And we wish that this platform will gain a traction. We'll try other means to ensure that we bring on more people. And the most important thing that we can always say to people who are listening to us, it will not take you 3 seconds to share. The reason why we ask all the time for you to share the show is for us to have visibility. So more people, there are people who out there wanting to hear and training issue, things that happen in the country, but they don't have the means. So sharing is caring. So it's your own form of contributing to the show. and share to 1 or 2 person, at least 5 person is enough, and let that 5 person share to another 5 person, and before you realize it, we have a whole community of people, and coming, and we having that kind of for exchange. So you can be meaning with your likes, but don't mean with your share, because sharing is scary. Thank you, Amy.
No problem. SB?
Yeah, what a great show we had. I mean, again, I want to congratulate my country. Some people may see this as a small win, but it's a big win for Liberia. This shows that our country is back on the international, platform after the civil crisis. Our nation, before some of us were born, was the cornerstone for development, was the cornerstone for diplomacy, was the cornerstone for global engagement. Liberia paved the way for many countries to gain their independence. Liberia paved the way for many countries to join the United Nations. Liberia paved the way for many countries to be recognized globally. And then unfortunately, very few selfish citizens of our nation decided to take their grievances beyond diplomatic engagement, beyond dialogues, and brought our nation to its knee, brought our nation to disgrace, and put us back more than 20 years. I've always argued that the war did not start in 1989, December 25th. I argue that the war started the day the 1980 coup happened, because Liberia was never the same since that 1980.
More than 30 years or 40.
So the war actually lasted longer than we always describe it to be. So to come from that, and today to be elected on the UN Security Council for a non-permanent seat is something to celebrate. Not to repeat myself, but I will urge my leaders, President Boakai, his team, the national legislators, the judicial branch of government, patriotic Liberians, our political leaders from the political opposition team, business leaders, Liberians in and out of Liberia. Right. We must use this opportunity to elevate the discussion. Use this opportunity to push Liberia's interest for national development. Use this opportunity to showcase Liberia's readiness for business opportunity, Liberia's readiness for development, Liberia's readiness for peace and stability, Liberia's readiness to push its development agenda across. This is good for our country. I hope that this would not be the last, as this is not the first. This is not the first that we have been elected, but it is the first in many years.
Yeah, we hope it doesn't take this long again.
I hope it won't take that long again. But I hope that even after this, we will now pave the way for stable development and stability across our nation. To add on to Fabula and to end here, we encourage everyone to share the show. This is a new platform for us. So share it. Let more people come across this, and we will be here, all of us, you and us. We will engage. We'll talk about our country. Liberia is our common denominator. There is nowhere better than our country. There is nowhere we'd rather be than in our country. So let us come here to talk about our country and pave the way for better leadership for Mama Liberia. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sorry, take us home.
Thank you. Great conversation. And let me say thanks to all those who take a point of time. Whether you're in the comment section or by whatsoever means you're watching this conversation, let's keep sharing. That's Big Dick Platform grow. It is a unique thing we have savor a change or a changes when it comes to national growth. Whether you have the point of disagreeing with government or agreeing with some government policies, I think it's a unique thing, and we are one way or another we contributing towards the progress of our nation. I think gone are the day when people ran to the bush or bushes to have brutality. Gone are the day when people saw one another as enemy. It's a unique thing to always be here. We talk about two unique issues that have to do with the non-permitting seat. Like many of us have said, we want to reiterate ourselves when it comes to how do we utilize it and how can we make progress. Because when I listen to one of the ministers, the Minister Nyen at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, not denigrating the past government, but he said a lot of things. He said we sometimes overlook some bilateral engagement, and diplomatically, Liberia has not been, seated on some of these conversations. And at the end of the day, when you go to the National Assembly and have conversation with people, they do not take you serious. Because where these conversations start from, you are not present. So at the end of the day, diplomatically, Liberia has been seen as not the serious country, but what we can tell this government, it is to improve on our part. We all talk about the bread and butter issue. It's important that you look at that, because if you are to do all these things, the people cannot get the needs at once. Has to do with the rice prices, the gas, and all the business commodity. You're wasting your time. You always see political pundits going to them to pressing the amount to say these things to say on TV. So it is what it is. We pray God for the best. And the CDC party thing is something that we should look at from a broad perspective. Like Sending said, it is not just it's today it is CDC party headquarters. Tomorrow it could be the Unity Party, and day after it could be the ANC and other political party. I'm still to be correct there. I don't think we have any political party there that have their political party with the political party in the register.
I think I heard something about the ALP.
The ALP has a structure that is registered in their name, or that is Mr. Europe personal property.
Yeah, one of US's property, so he just.
So that's what I know. That place is one of his properties.
What is our party name?
The National Patriotic Party.
Charted about that place for them.
For them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's fine. I think we recognize one, but I think we should have more, right? So if you have a political party that have a structural building or a structural place for a political party area, I don't think we'll be having the kind of a conversation. So if you say you are a government waiting, you should do things that will amplify seriousness in the face of Liberian. It's a good conversation. Let's keep sharing this platform. Like we said, it is a new platform. We have more to do. And we welcome all well-meaning Liberians. Whether you supported the Unity Party, supporting the CDC, you are welcome on this platform to have a civil change. I think it was a pleasure being here. And thanks to you, Amy, for the great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, like everyone have already said, like my brother sorry just said, I'm just gonna touch on that. This is not any political party platform. It's an independent. Come on here, CDC. Come on here, ALP. Come on here, MPP, all the PP, ANC, everybody. You're welcome. And let's talk Liberia. So you have other people here talking about their parties. Don't get mad and think that this is just this party platform. No, it's is a independent platform, and we welcome everyone. And thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for bearing with us. We were late, and I promise you, like I said, this is our first week on this platform. On our other platform, we always go, which is should I say our motherless platform or whatever. But we're here. This is new, and we're trying to get some things together. And the other guys are still, trying to get on here. So hopefully next week we will get it all together and everything would be moving smoothly. With that, Wilson, Tommy Jr., Veronica, I don't know if you're still here. Who, as all of you in the comment section, we say thank you for coming. Thank you, and we'll be here, God's willing, tomorrow. Come back and let's chat, let's talk Liberia. Thank you, and for that, we in here now, and we say good night. Talk to you tomorrow, and see you all.
Good night, y'all.
Okay, good night, guys.